Okay, for this project, I'm using a Lion brand Heartland, which it's just a medium weight 4-ply acrylic yarn, 100% acrylic. So you don't have to use this brand. Any type of 4-ply yarn will work. And the color, though, if you do decide, is called Joshua's Tree. And I don't know how many yards. Oh, 251 yards per skein, and one skein will be enough to make a hat. And then I'm going to be using a size I, which is a 5.5mm crochet hook. And I want to take a moment to ask you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you do go to subscribe, don't forget to click that little bell that's right there by the subscribe button. That way you never miss a tutorial again. Okay, for this you want to start off with a chain of 4. And then we're going to slip stitch into the first chain to form a ring, and you can use a magic circle here too if you prefer. Okay, now we're going to chain 1. Now that chain 1 I did doesn't count as anything. It doesn't count as a stitch or nothing. So what we're going to do is work 12 double crochets through the center of that ring right there. So I'm going to yarn over and go through the ring and draw up a loop. And then I'm going to do my double crochet. And I want to do that 12 times. So that was 1. 2. 3, 4. Okay, once you make it all the way around and you have your 12 double crochets, we're going to go ahead and end round 1 by slip stitching into the first double crochet. Not the chain 1, but that first double crochet that we did. That'll end round 1 and we'll have 12 stitches now. So you can go ahead and pull your tail, and usually that'll close up that center circle just a bit more. And then you can close it up the rest of the way at the end with the yarn, with your yarn needle. Okay, for round 2, we will go ahead and chain 1 again, which does not count as anything. And we're going to work 2 double crochets right there back into that same stitch that we just slip stitched into. So we're going to yarn over and go right into that same stitch and do 2 double crochets. So there's 1 and 2. And then I'm going to work 2 double crochets in every single stitch all the way around. So go to the next stitch and work 2 double crochets, 2 into the next, and 2 into every stitch until we get back to the beginning. Okay, I have made it to the end of round 2, and what you want to do to end round 2 is we're going to slip stitch again into the first double crochet that we made, and now you should have a total of 24 stitches at the end of round 2. So we're going to start round 3 by chaining 1, and what we're going to do for round 3 is just repeat what we did for round 2. So I'm going to put 2 double crochets right there into that very first stitch, the one that we just slip stitched into. So there's 1 and 2. Now again, just like the previous round, we're going to work 2 double crochets in every stitch all the way around until you get back to the beginning. Just like that. Okay, once you make it back around, at the end of round 3, you should have 48 stitches now, and we're just going to end round 3 by slip stitching into our first double crochet. And now we'll start round 4 by chaining 1, and now we're going to work 1 double crochet right there into that very first stitch that we slip stitched into. And now the next stitch we're going to work 2 double crochets into that same stitch. And then the next stitch will be 1 double crochet. And then in the next stitch we'll put 2 double crochets. One double crochet into the next, and then 2 double crochets into the next. And we're going to repeat this pattern all the way back around to the beginning. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, until we get back around here to our starting point. Okay, I made it back around at the end of round 4, and you should have 72 stitches now. And now we're going to end round 4 by slip stitching right here into our first double crochet. Now we're going to start working the, it's okay if it's a little wavy, it'll work itself out. We're going to start making the hat go down. So we're not going to do any more increases. So what we're going to do, we're going to start round 5 by chaining 1. And then we're going to put 1 double crochet right back into the same stitch. And then we're going to put 1 double crochet into the next stitch. Now what we're going to do is we're going to skip 2 stitches. Skip it and skip. And in the next stitch we're going to work a front post triple crochet. So what we're going to do is yarn over twice like we're going to do a triple crochet. Now remember, we're skipping 2 stitches, and we're going to go, instead of working into the top of the stitch, we're just going to work our triple crochet around the front of the post of the stitch like that. And then you just do your triple crochet like you normally would. And then I'm going to do a front post triple crochet in the next stitch. So I'm going to yarn over twice again, and not going into the top. I'm going to go around the post of the next stitch like that and work my triple crochet. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to back it up. In those 2 stitches that we skipped, we're going to work front post triple crochets also, starting with this very first one that we skipped. So we're going to yarn over twice. It's a little tricky. We're going to go all the way back to that first stitch that we skipped and go right around the post of it like that, and then do your triple crochet. And then the next one, kind of pull your stitches apart and you'll see it right there, front post triple crochet around that one. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So remember, you can see this one right here has a front post triple around it. So make sure you're not going into the top of that one. Go into the next one, right into the top of it, and work a double crochet, just a regular double crochet, and then a regular double crochet into the top of the next one also, just like that. So now we're going to repeat that. So we're going to skip the next 2 stitches and front post triple around the next. So I'm going to skip this one and skip this one and front post triple around this one. And then I'm going to front post triple around the next one. And then I'm going to back it up and front post triple around the 2 that I skipped, starting with the first one. That's probably the hardest one to get, is that one right there. But once you do it a couple times, it'll be pretty easy. And then the next one, you kind of move your stitches around to see it right there. Front post triple around that one. And then it's 1 regular double crochet into the top of the next 2 stitches. So just yarn over and go into the top of the next stitch. and double crochet, and then double crochet again into the top of the next. And now we're just going to be repeating that all the way around. So do it one more time. Skip 2, skip, skip, front post triple around the next 2. And then we'll back it up and we're going to front post triple around the 2 that we skipped, starting with that first one. And then the next one's right there. And then we're going to put 1 double crochet in the top of the next 2 stitches. So I'm just going to repeat this pattern all the way around until I get back to the beginning. Okay, I've made it to the end of round 5, and I did my last little cable here. I skipped 2 and I front post tripled in these 2. And then I went back and front post tripled in the 2 that I skipped, and now there are no stitches left. So what you want to do is in round 5 by slip stitching into the first double crochet, just like that. Now you still should have 72 stitches now at the end of round 5. Okay, we're going to start round 6 by chaining 1. And we're going to work 1 double crochet back into the same stitch. And then 1 double crochet into the next stitch. Now what we're going to do is front post triple crochet. This is what I do. I put my little finger, my thumb or my finger through here to separate these 2 stitches. I'm going to front post triple crochet around the first 2 in the back and then around the first 2 in the front. So starting with this one, I'm going to yarn over twice and front post triple crochet around that first one. So we're not skipping any this time. And then around the next one that's in the back there. So go around the post of it and front post triple crochet. And then I'm going to front post triple crochet around these 2, starting with the first one. And then the next one here. Just like that. So that kind of made a little cable there, if you can see it. Now I'm going to put 1 double crochet in each of these next 2 stitches. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this cable. So I kind of stick my finger or my thumb in there, and I'm going to front post triple around this one first and then this one, the back 2. And then you kind of move the cables around to find them, I think. And there's your next one. Front post triple around that one. And then we'll front post triple around this one and then this one, the 2 that are in the front. And then we'll put 1 double crochet in each of these 2 double crochets. So 1 double into the next stitch and then 1 into the next. And that's what we're going to kind of repeat all the way around. You can see it kind of makes little cables. So again, put your thumb in there, separate these two. And these two back here is we work this one first and then the next one, and we front post triple around those. So if it helps to slide these over, you can do that. Go around the first one, front post triple, and then around the next one. Slide over your stitches so you can find the right one. And then front post triple around these two in front, starting with this one right here. And then the next one. And then one double crochet in each of these two double crochets. And that's what we're going to repeat all the way around until we go back to the beginning. So you might have to just kind of fix these cables a bit. Sometimes they get twisted up at the top there. There you go. You can kind of start to see it a little bit better. So I'm just going to keep repeating that pattern all the way around and till I get to the end of round 6. Okay, I've made it to the end of round 6, and you still should have 72 stitches. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and end with a slip stitch into my first double crochet, just like that. Okay, now for round 7, what I'm going to do is chain 1, and I'm going to work 1 single crochet into that very same stitch. Single crochet this time. Remember that chain 1 that I did don't count as anything, so I'm working a single crochet in the same stitch. And I'm going to work 1 single crochet in every single stitch all the way around. Just like this until I get back to the beginning. So row 7 is just a row of single crochet, 1 in every stitch, just like that. Okay, I've come to the end of round 7, and I did 1 single crochet in every stitch. Still should have 72 stitches. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip stitch into my first single crochet, but I'm going to slip stitch into the back loop only. So you see that there are 2 loops on each stitch. Has 2 loops here. The one closest to you is the front loop right here, and the one furthest away from you is the back loop, and that's what we're going to be working in now. So we're going to come to our first single crochet here. We're going to slip stitch, but we're only going to slip stitch into that back loop, so we leave the front loop unworked. So go ahead and slip stitch into it like that. And now we are going to chain 1, and we're going to put 1 single crochet right there through that front loop, or through that back loop only. And now I'm going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch, just working in the back loops. So this is round 8 that we're on. So we're just going into that back loop, so there'll just be 1 loop on your hook and single crochet. And again in the next one, back loop only. And we're going to do this all the way around. And that's going to create just a little bit of a ridge there, just for texture, I guess. So 1 single back loop only every stitch until you get back around to the end of round 8. Okay, I've come around to the end of round 8 by working 1 single crochet in the back loops only. So again, I'm going to slip stitch into the back loop of my first single crochet, not this chain 1 here. Make sure you're going into the first single crochet, back loop only, slip stitch into it, and you should have 72 stitches still. So now what I'm going to do for round 9 is I'm just going to repeat round 8. So I'm going to chain 1, single crochet into the back loop only of that very first stitch, and then I'm going to work around putting one single crochet into the back loop only of every stitch. So round 9, I'm repeating round 8, so we're on round 9 now. You can see it's starting to make little ribbings. So go ahead and repeat that all the way around. Okay, I've come to the end of round 9 and I'm going 72 stitches still. I'm gonna repeat that one more time. So for round 10, I'm gonna slip stitch into the single crochet back loop only. Remember not to go into that chain one. So the first single crochet back loop only. I'm repeating this row one more time for row 10. So I'm going to chain 1, go back into the same back loop and single crochet, and then I'm going to work one single crochet in every stitch, back loop only, just like we did on the previous rows. Just like that. So you want to repeat that until you get over here to the end of round 10. Okay, I'm coming to the end of round 10. We should have 72 stitches. What I'm going to do now is slip stitch into the first single crochet, but I'm going to go through both loops now when I slip stitch. So not the chain one, but the first single crochet, both loops. Now we're working through both loops again. Now for round 11, I'm going to chain 1. And I'm going to put one double crochet right back into the same stitch. And now I'm going to put one double crochet in every stitch all the way around. We're going through both loops, remember. One double crochet every single stitch until we get back around to the beginning. So just like that. Okay, I've made it to the end of round 11. 72 stitches still. Go ahead and end by slip stitching into your first double crochet like that. And now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be repeating rounds 5 through 11. So we're going to start up here around 5 where we started doing the cables and work our way down to round 11 again. So if you remember, round 5 is where we chained 1 and we put one double crochet back into the same stitch, and then we put a double crochet into the next stitch, and then we skipped 2 and we front post tripled around the next 2. So skip, skip, front post triple around the next 2. And then we went back and front post tripled around the 2 that we skipped. So this is round 12 that I'm working on, but it's just a repeat of round 5. And then it was a one double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So what I'm going to do is repeat rounds 5 through 11. I'm just going to repeat those again. And you want to keep repeating rows 5 through 11 until you reach a total of 25 rows. So go ahead and rewind me if you need to look again and see what rows 5 through 11 are. But once you get it down, it's pretty easy. But once you get 25 rows done, which I already did here, your last row should be a row of double crochet. So you're actually repeating 5 through 11 2 times. You can see it right there. So here's my 5 through 11. You're repeating it once, and then you're repeating it again, and you ended in that row of double crochet. So to finish the slouchy hat off, I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to go right back in to that same stitch and single crochet, and I'm just going to do 1 single crochet in the top of every stitch all the way around, and that's just going to put a finishing edge on it. Just like this. So this is round 26, be our last round. When you get back around, you still should have your 72 stitches. So I'm going to keep going around, 1 single crochet in every stitch, back to the beginning. When you make it back around at the end of row 20, around 26, you just want to slip stitch into your first single crochet there. And then you can tie this off, clip your yarn, hide your tail. Now if you want to put a pom-pom on, you can. I probably will. I'm just going to use a pom-pom maker to make my pom-pom though. But there are lots of good tutorials on YouTube to show you how to make pom-poms. If you do not know how, I would recommend the Nervous Knitter. She has a great how-to pom-pom tutorial. But I'm going to go ahead and get my pom-pom maker out and make a pom-pom and put it on my hat. Okay, once you get your pom-pom sewed on, that's it. I had this little tag that I sewed on with some yarn and a needle. It just says handmade. I don't know where that came from. Somebody donated them to me, so I couldn't tell you where to get them, but I'm sure you can find them online if you want to. But that's it. That's all there is to it. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the bell whenever you subscribe to my channel. That way you never miss another tutorial. Don't forget to check out all my other tutorials too. I have hundreds of them. And until next time, have a good day.